Morny. Okay. Who is next?
We've got one from Sith Merc, formerly Digit Merc, I'm pretty sure, in the Discord here.
Stop.
Stop.
Yeah. Digit. You motherfucker. What is it with you and your fucking name? Why every 2 weeks do you have a new fucking name? Are you running from the law? Did you do something in Germany that you're hiding now? Or, like, what's going on, bro? Like, every fucking time I see you, there's a new name. Then it's Cyan Merc and Sasian Merc and Sion Merc and fucking Digit Merc. Who are you running from, bro? Who's looking for you? If you tell us, we can protect you. Up to date with the latest naming fashion? Yeah, this option, I guess so. Anyways, Digit, love you, brother. Okay, what was Digit's question? Sorry, Moni.
Oh, no problem. His question is, well, it's a bit of a ramp up. So, what he's asking is, in a nutshell, is Azeroth possibly another Zerith Mortis type facility? The build up for this that he has is that we've seen that all of the origination facilities for each power has a specific Zerith, or at least that's what has been claimed by Denuzer. And if Azeroth is like the focal point of one of the powers, he had mentioned life, but I would point out Azeroth may seem more like reality than just life.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that it has all of these Titan facilities just littering it to the point that you're wondering how much of it is actually a planet. Mm-hmm. Is it possible that this is the whole thing conceptually is a type of Zereth that maybe the Titans found or the old gods first found, and they have been warring over the reality Zereth ever since?
Hmm. Okay. No. I would say Azeroth is perhaps the closest to real life that we can get. And Digit, you bastard, you just gave me an answer to a speculation question that I have had for a really long time. I fucking love you, bro. Holy shit. Alright. So we know that there are different Zerith realms. We know that there is one Zerith realm for at least every cosmological force. Azeroth being the one true exception. Remember how long I've been asking this question. What is it that makes Azeroth special? And for those of you that don't know quite what I mean when I say special, when we get to the Shadowlands, we meet with the attendants. One of the Ouroboros attendants is a Fate Scribe. The Fate Scribe gives us information as to why we do not die on Azeroth. The Fate Scribe says that we are quite an interesting race, unlike anything he's ever seen before, because we do not die, and we seem to have a strange connection to our planet that keeps us from turning over, that keeps us from transitioning from the Great Beyond into the Shadowlands. This connection, whatever this connection with Azeroth is. He then goes on to explain that when we set foot in the Shadowlands, somehow our souls made the exact same connection to the relics of the first ones. This is why when we, the mortals, die in Shadowlands, we do not die permanently. Because remember, At first, we were told that when you die in the Shadowlands, that is it. That's forever. Now we know that's not true. When you die in the Shadowlands, your spirit, your anima, your soul returns to Zerith Mortis to be reorganized, and you come back as something new, created within the Zerith Mortis realm. Except for us. The connection that we have with Azeroth transferred to these relics of the first ones upon our entrance into the Shadowlands. So when we die, we remain in the Shadowlands. Now, you could argue, well, Accolonn, that's just a bit of flavor text, but flavor text is important when it comes to world building. In fact, flavor text is everything when it comes to world building. Because this gives us a whole new question. What makes us so special? Why us? Every realm has a Zerith realm. Every cosmological realm has a Zerith realm. But we know how life happens on Azeroth. We know this because the Titans themselves built it. It is the Emerald Dream. Life, all life on Azeroth originates from within this dream. And before people go, but Accolonn, what about the Titan Keepers? And what about the dwarfs and the gnomes that were Titan Creepers, keepers that eventually became mortal due to the Curse of Flesh? What about the orcs that come from Draenor? What about the Draenei? What about all of these creatures? They too? And to you, I would say, yes. Because they are now beings of Azeroth. Their children being born now comes from Azeroth's dream as much as the original species comes from Azeroth's dream. Azeroth is a living Zerith Realm, but so much more than a normal Zerith Realm. Because with Zerith Mortis, we saw it, this giant plane that basically functions as a 3D printer, just consistently creating new worlds and new things. Azeroth, on the other hand, creates life, but it's not machine-like. It's organic. It's an organic ecosystem that Azeroth created within this system. So it's almost like a closed ecosystem within the greater ecosystem. That is Azeroth. Her dream separates us, at least, from the other Zerith realms. And this is where we once again sort of run head first or face first into a fucking wall. Because the question then becomes, what is Azeroth? And to my mind, we have two answers. Answer number one is that Azeroth is a first one. And I do think there's evidence of that. Zovaal states that he cannot dominate the universe until Azeroth is dead. He needs to kill Azeroth in order to have his plans come to fruition. This is why he attacks Azeroth in Zerith Mortis. Now, Zerith Mortis... Actually, he doesn't attack Azeroth in Zerith Mortis. He attacks Azeroth in the Sepulchre of the First Ones. Perhaps a little bit of a clue. In order to kill the First One, you have to go to the burial ground of the First Ones. Azeroth cannot be killed by fighting her in the Great Beyond. Azeroth cannot be killed by sticking a sword into her. The only way you can kill Azeroth is by going to the very birthplace of Azeroth, which is the Sepulchre of the First Ones. The end of the road. If you guys remember, the brokers speak about this journey, this road that they traveled on, following the First One's footsteps. And there is a good argument to be made that this journey took the brokers through each of the cosmological realms, and the journey ended in the Shadowlands. So once they had built all of these Zerith realms, and they finally created Death, the place that would complete the cycle, they laid themselves to rest inside the sepulchre of the first ones, and Azeroth was to be the eternal protector of the system. A sort of failsafe, if you will. Amethyst, thank you so much for the 50. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The other option, and the one that I like most,
Purple heart, victory hand.
probably not the... Wait, did the voice just say victory hand? It could just have said peace, right? The voice literally thinks this is victory hand. Who knew? I still appreciate the 50, Amethyst. I think that Azeroth might be on the outside. I think Azeroth is a being. This is why the rules are so very different for Azeroth, and why nothing really works the way that everything else works in the Great Beyond where Azeroth is concerned, because Azeroth isn't of this creation. Azeroth isn't part of the cycle. Azeroth is sort of a gear that's been thrown into the system that doesn't quite fit. It sort of changes the way the system operates. And I believe this is why Zovaal needed to kill her, because as long as Azeroth is alive, she can counteract any sort of domination that he tries to exert onto the Great Beyond. Because she is not part of the system, she would not be mind controllable. He wouldn't be able to dominate her the same way that he dominates everyone else. This perhaps speaks to why the old gods, given all of their time on Azeroth, have yet to actually corrupt Azeroth beyond survival. Because if I'm not mistaken, now I could be mistaken, it's been literal years since I've done this, but in Ulduar, you fight Accolonn. Accolonn is a... it's not a consular. What are they called again? Is it consular? Anyways, you find Accolonn. And I believe Accolonn says something... Consular, thank you. Yes. I believe Accolonn says something like... Azeroth's corruption is at 60%, if I'm not mistaken. It's a celestial. Yes. I think he says something like fucking 60%. Or it might actually be higher than that. I do know that it was high enough that he wanted to re-originate the planet. And yet, given all of that corruption, Azeroth is still Azeroth. Still fully with her mind intact. No, like no other Titan would be able to survive that level of corruption, and yet for Azeroth, it doesn't seem to slow her down one bit. Perhaps because she is truly outside of the system, so the corruption of the old gods do not do much to her. That at least is my answer to the question. If you want a more sort of perfect answer, I suggest waiting for more information to come out from Steve Denuser and Blizzard, because this is pretty much the best answer I have for you. At least for now. But I do appreciate the question. Thank you so much for it. That was a fun one. That was a really fun one.